Hello, everyone. My name is Brendan Moore. That noise you're hearing is my ventilator, and thank you for tuning in. The page turners, they were not my Star Wars podcast. Before we begin, we got a big announcement. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker will be released on Disney Plus on May the 4th. I had heard a rumor, and I must, of course, give credit where credit is due to John Justice. By the way, go and check out his podcast, My Nerd World with John Justice. He's a great guy, great content, and he's also a novelist, by the way. Yes. He writes a science fiction series called Embark, which I would also recommend that you check out. But check out his podcast. But he's the one who said earlier this week that he'd heard rumors that The Rise of Skywalker would come to Disney Plus on May the 4th, and it looks like those rumors are true. So that's a great gift from Lucasfilm for May the 4th be with you. Okay? Which I can't wait for that day because, well, we're gonna have some fun on my podcast. So, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, that's next Monday's podcast. There we go. It will be a great day to celebrate indeed. Speaking of celebration, today I'd like to celebrate the Clone Wars Season 7. Now that I've gotten around to watching some of it, I would like to give you a review, more or less, of the first 4 episodes, the Bad Batch arc, and the most recent 2 Ahsoka episodes. Now, in the middle of this season, Ahsoka and the Sisters, I have not watched that entire arc yet. But I did watch the Bad Batch arc, and I have watched the Ahsoka on Mandalore arc. Now, I'm going to keep it fairly light on the spoilers. Though, if I give some major spoilers, I will give you fair warning. Now, I believe there are 2 more episodes, at least, until the end of the season. I have actually not bothered to look because I want to be surprised. But given where this most recent episode left off, I believe that whatever comes next, while it may be part of the same story arc, I think there's enough that has been done that I can sufficiently speak about what we've seen so far. So, let's start with the Bad Batch arc. We'll take a break, and then I'll talk about the Ahsoka on Mandalore stories. Alright. The Bad Batch arc begins with an episode called The Bad Batch. The Separatists have been able to predict the clone troopers' strategies. And so Captain Rex and Commander Cody decide that they need to do something more unorthodox so that the Separatists cannot predict their moves, as well as determine how in the world the Separatists can predict their moves. In order to accomplish this goal, they bring in the Bad Batch, called Clone Force 99, which is a throwback I believe the season 1 where 99, who was a clone, who was what they colloquially call a bad batcher, was kind of a deformed clone who ended up proving his worth. And I believe that the Bad Batch, as they call themselves, Clone Force 99, named themselves in tribute to this great hero. So the Bad Batch members are all a bit odd. They are kind of clones that had strange mutations that were nonetheless desirable. And what we get is kind of a group of clones, a group of soldiers that might be in the realm of something like a movie like Predator or Commando, very 80s action film. You have Hunter, Wrecker, Crosshair, and Tech. Hunter is the leader, who visually resembles Rambo. Wrecker's this big guy who's probably like something out of the movie The Predator. Crosshair, is your silent marksman type. It kind of reminds me a little bit of in the Seven Samurai. There is one of the members who's kind of this long-faced, skinny guy. He's a very quiet but brilliant swordsman, whose name escapes me, but that's who Crosshair reminded me of. And Tech, of course, is kind of the nerdy one, including me. Even down to his goggles look kind of like glasses. So definitely you're very much in the tradition of action film team-ups. And it's off to the races. And I just gotta say, I love this group. The Bad Batch are great because, like all the clones, and this is really the genius of the show, they're able to take all these guys who are identical and yet make them unique, so that all of them feel like not just a copy. They feel like they're fully fleshed out characters. And this includes all the clones, each with their own way of speaking, each with their own personality. Credit must be given to D. Bradley Baker, who voices all the clones, for being able to give each one a unique personality. Whether it's Fives, or Echo, or Heavy, or Rex, or Cody, it really is quite astonishing what has been accomplished. Now, I don't want to get into the details of the adventure that Clone Force 99 goes on in the Bad Batch arc, but I really enjoyed what they were doing. Their journey to Skako Minor, which is where the headquarters of the Techno Union, and what they discovered there is interesting. They run into a new type of battle droid, which is really kind of weird and cool, that fly. They fly now? Yeah. And what they discover is pretty interesting. So all in all, quite an arc. And I really think, I just gotta say that right off the bat, I felt like I was home. Like, even though it's been, get this, 12 years, since the Clone Wars ended. It felt like we were back. It's a Chewie, we're home kind of moment. Of just being like no time has passed. And that, I suppose, was the concern, that it would feel as though it just didn't quite match up to what we love about the Clone Wars, that there would be something missing. And I don't feel that at all as soon as this started. Now, Disney, a few years ago, had posted the animatics, or rather the unfinished animation of these episodes, which I did see, but it's nice to see them in full form. Now, I must say, the other episodes that we saw no part of and were not made until recently, if I'm not mistaken, those felt like no time had passed also. So it's just great to see that. So the Bad Batch 4-part arc is quite good. Very much in the style of everything that I love about the Clone Wars. Or at least in the more war-centric episodes. Landing at Point Rain in Season 1 and other great episodes that are just war. And that's exactly what I wanted to see. And I was very pleased with what we saw. So check it out on Disney Plus. Okay, I'm going to take a short break and I'll be right back. Hello there, this is Brennan Marr, host of Page Turners They Were Not, a Star Wars podcast. And I'm here to tell you about Anchor. Anchor is the best way to make a podcast. Why is that? Well, first off, it's free. Yes, you heard me right. Anchor is free. Anchor has all the tools you need to make a podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you on various platforms, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can make money from your podcast. And get this, with no minimum listenership. That means you can make money even if no one listens to your podcast. That, of course, is not ideal, as Anchor will allow you to spread your podcast, bring in more viewers, and you can make more money because of it. Everything you need to make a podcast is in one place on Anchor. If you're interested, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you, and may the Force be with you. Okay, I'm back. All right. Now, 2 episodes that we'd all been waiting for. And there are still more to come, but I think that what these 2 episodes accomplished was enough that I can actually talk about them. Ahsoka returns to the fight. Yes. And this, of course, is the Siege of Mandalore. Something that I think we've been waiting to see, not only because of the trailers and, seeing Darth Maul and Ahsoka, but also with the success of The Mandalorian, there is an interest in the Mandalorian people and their culture and their history. And this may be where we get into the more, it's real deep stuff. So The first episode of this two-parter, I'll call it, is called Old Friends Not Forgotten. And it begins with a battle on another planet, a planet called Urbana, where Obi-Wan and Anakin take out some droids. But then something happens that draws their attention. When Admiral Yularen contacts Skywalker and says, there's somebody called Fulcrum who's trying to get a hold of you. Which, of course, Anakin thinks is Saw Gerrera, because, that's what Saw referred to himself in the Onderon episodes. But nope, it's Ahsoka. Ahsoka with Bo-Katan, the leader of the Night Owls, subset of the Mandalorians. Bo-Katan and Ahsoka informed Anakin and Obi-Wan that they had found Maul, and that they should go and capture him. Which is he's hiding out on Mandalore, the planet Mandalore. And of course they are able to, what Ahsoka and Bo-Katan need is they need the help of the Republic. Or at least the help of some of the clones to accomplish their goals. After some finagling, they decide to give Ahsoka what she needs. Even though Obi-Wan and Anakin can't interfere, because at that moment they get the word that Coruscant is under attack. And General Grievous is apparently planning on kidnapping Chancellor Palpatine. This, of course, means this is occurring right before Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. It's also interesting to note that Shaak Ti, the Jedi Master, was sent to protect Palpatine. Now, I'm not going to get into the spoilers there, other than to say there is a deleted scene from Revenge of the Sith that involves Shaak Ti, and I'm wondering how that's going to play out in this. So Anakin and Obi-Wan have to rush off, but they give a group of clones to help Ahsoka and Bo-Katan. So, Rex included. Rex goes with Ahsoka, which probably explains why in Rebels, Rex was so very pleased to see Ahsoka again later, though he served with Ahsoka enough to know how great she is. So they all go to Mandalore, and things go, yeah. Now, later, we discover in this two-part arc that we are actually taking place during the events of Revenge of the Sith. As I believe in the second episode, Obi-Wan informs Ahsoka that Count Dooku is dead because Anakin killed him. So we're into the actual events of the Revenge of the Sith, and the Siege of Mandalore is occurring concurrently with the early part of Revenge of the Sith. Now, the interesting to note, we get a couple of minor little cameos. And if you don't want to hear any of these spoilers, I'd recommend waiting a minute or two. So what we get is we get Gar Saxon and Rook Cast, who are Mandalorians in the employ of Darth Maul. Now, they first appeared in the Darth Maul Son of Dathomir comic series, which was the first official canon material to come out after Lucasfilm's canon redefinition in 2014. And those two characters first appeared in that comic series. So we get that. We also get a little reference to Ursa Wren. Ursa Wren is Sabine's mother. And in her case, she's one of the good guys. She's one of the Mandalorians trying to restore order and rule to Mandalore. So we had that little reference, which I really like. And then, of course, we get Maul himself. Oh, yes. You know, Darth Maul has become one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. Thanks in no small part to Sam Witwer's brilliant voice work. And also the way the character is being used in the cartoons. Now, the next episode in this arc, called The Phantom Apprentice, has what we've all been waiting for. A lightsaber duel between Maul and Ahsoka. I'm not going to reveal how this ends. There's also a little detail that Maul is aware of what Palpatine is planning with Order 66. He's aware of it. But, you know, he doesn't really say much more than that. So, I can't really go any further without spoiling anything major, so what I will say is I am very pleased with this 2-episode arc. I've been very interested, like many of you have, in the Siege of Mandalore. I've also been looking forward to a showdown between these two characters. And I'm interested to see where the next couple episodes go. It's nice to see these appearances from other characters. Because Gar Saxon, of course, would later on become the Viceroy of Mandalore under the Imperial rule. It's nice to see Ursa Wren appear. And we saw very briefly, and this might be a little spoiler, so just warning you, Dryden Voss. We saw him very briefly. Maul was communicating via hologram with Dryden. So all in all, some wonderful little details to those in the know, and also just some great storytelling Clone Wars, I think, at its finest. And the showdown between Ahsoka and Maul did not disappoint. Did not disappoint one bit. It was pretty cool. Okay, so I would definitely recommend checking out these episodes. I will give you my thoughts on the remaining episodes and the Ahsoka and the sisters storyline. I'll give you my thoughts on those after I've finished watching them. So those are my thoughts on what we've seen so far. And what a time it is to celebrate the wonders and joy of the Clone Wars. My name is Brennan Marr, that noisy very fed ventilator. And thank you for tuning in to Page Turners They Were Not, my Star Wars podcast. May the Force be with you.